The preseason is underway in the NFL, and that means we are inching closer to games that count. With that in mind, we reach out to CBS local sports anchors and reporters Steve Overmeyer in New York and Jim Hill in L.A. to get their takes on the teams they cover, the Giants and the Jets, as well as the Chargers and Rams, respectively. First question, which rookie will have the biggest impact this season?
Sam Darnold. He might not start week 1, but at some point this year, he is going to be the Jets' starting quarterback, and his growth as a quarterback, his ability to process what the defense is doing, understand the offense, and to mature as a 21-year-old kid as a quarterback in the NFL is going to be paramount to the success of the Jets, not necessarily for this year, but certainly for the future. The Giants rookie that's going to have the most impact is clearly going to be Saquon Barkley. In fact, in the first preseason game, we saw what he could do with his first handoff, a monster carry that he kind of created on his own. He found the blocks, he saw the hole open up, and he just burst out there. And I think that that's the one thing that the Giants have been missing, an explosive player in the backfield.
John Franklin Myers is the Rams rookie that I think will have the biggest impact on him. He comes from Stephen F. Austin, defensive end. He's about 6'4", weighs about 285 pounds, and he runs a 4.8 40. That's plenty quick. He's going to be able to provide them quickness when he's coming off the edge, rushing, and he's really, really good at stopping the run as well. Derwin James out of Florida, the safety, is the individual I think that will have the biggest impact as far as a rookie is concerned. He's big. He's fast, he loves contact, and he comes from a school that has produced a lot of good defensive backs in the past. The Chargers will be depending on him to do a lot of good things in their secondary because that was one of the weak spots that they had last year.
Regarding John Franklin Myers, the rookie Jim Hill picked to have the biggest impact, he went in the 4th round, and there are not any action shots of him available on our photo service, so apparently he is flying under the radar, at least in some degree. Jim, I love the pick. Next up, what are your expectations for these teams this season?
I think Jets fans need to temper their expectations a little this year. Anytime you're going to have a rookie quarterback in there for a majority of the year, he's going to take his lumps. So I would think that the Jets are probably going to be somewhere in the 6 to 7 win range. I think my expectations for the Giants this year are maybe a little higher than most. Let's not forget, this is a team that 2 years ago, was a double-digit victory team, and if not for the injuries last year and the disgruntled attitude in that locker room, this is a team that was expected to be a Super Bowl contender last year. And they have all the big pieces back once again. 11 wins. I see the Giants getting 11.
My expectations for the Rams this year are to at least repeat as the NFC Western Division champions. After that, it could be a coin toss because they snuck up on a lot of people last year throughout the course of the regular season. But once they got to the postseason, it was a completely different story. They had a wild shootout against the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. And then, of course, in the postseason, they lost to the Atlanta Falcons. So they know what it's like to play in big games. They know what it's like to lose in a big game, and they know what it's like to win in a big game. When you have Phillip Rivers, you have great expectations. They should have been in the playoffs last year if it hadn't been for a bad kicker. I mean, 2 kicks cost them the playoffs last year. They get those 2 kicks early in the season, they win the AFC's Western Division Championship. So with Phillip Rivers there and a better kicker and a better and improved defense and a good running attack, they got a shot.
One of the 2 missed field goals Jim referenced came in the season opener at Denver on Monday Night Football, down by 3 with time expiring. The kick was partially blocked. The second came the following Sunday against the Dolphins in the Chargers home opener, with fewer than 10 seconds remaining, down 2. The failed attempts contributed to an 0-4 start. The Chargers went 9-3 the rest of the way. And finally, we asked what sleeper team could we see in the Super Bowl this season?
I think my sleeper pick to win the Super Bowl this year, again, a sleeper pick, would be the New Orleans Saints. They have a quarterback who threw for more than 3,500 yards last year. They had the 2nd best offense in the NFL, primarily due to a speedy running back in Alvin Kamara, an explosive guy, and they certainly have the receivers to go downfield. And their defense vastly improved in the second half of the season. The first half of the season, they were ranked 28th in the NFL, but by the end of the year, they moved themselves up to number 17. So this is a defense that has found themselves and an offense that knows how to put points on the board. I like the Saints.
I'm going to say the Chargers. Here's the reason why. Melvin Ingram, their fine defensive end, was talking about getting to the Super Bowl. before they went even to training camp. Of course, that's the object anytime you go into camp, but you don't talk about it openly like he has, because when you do, then other people think that you're taking things for granted. You're kind of demeaning the other teams. So by him talking about it and putting that seed, planting that seed in not only his mind, but in the mind of some of his teammates, why not? And if they do, it will be a surprise.
If you like this video, check out the 2 reports we did with our CBS local sports teams in Dallas, Philly, Boston, and Minnesota, as well as Pittsburgh, Miami, and Denver. You can find them both on CBS Local Sports. Matt Yurus for CBS Local Sports.